Have you ever been to the sixth circle of hell? Well, if this video found you in Oklahoma, I'm kidding, guys. We're doing Ukraine. We're doing Ukraine. Welcome to part 39 of the United States might as well be 53rd world country stacked up in a trench coat. First things first, if you're watching this in Oklahoma, nobody is telling you to move to the Ukraine. But if we look for some common ground, just specifically with a developing nation at war with Russia like Ukraine and America, two things come to mind. One, both the American and Ukrainian militaries have a surprising amount of active white supremacists. Number two, both you and my tax dollars actively fund that. And with Ukraine being in a war with a world superpower, you would think that there's no way they're doing better on anything than any state in one of the most developed nations on the planet. Wait till I tell you about Oklahoma, man. Ukraine has 10 times the people and makes $75 billion less dollars a year. If we look at GDP, that plus the war, and you would think that the odds should be pretty stacked in Oklahoma's favor versus Ukraine. Not if you're pregnant. Oklahoma loses twice the amount of mothers per 100,000 and close to 2 more babies per 1,000 than war-torn former Soviet Ukraine. Over half of the counties in Oklahoma are considered to be a maternity care desert, meaning that there are no maternity providers like midwives, obstetricians, or physicians that can provide services before, during, or after a pregnancy. And even as Ukraine had to move those services into bomb shelters and underground bunkers, they are getting to better outcomes than Oklahoma. I'm not here to make light of any international conflict going on where people live. So when it comes to living at the median income, we're going to look at it different today. In Ukraine, your median income would be about $600 to $700. Cost of living is $400 to $500 on the low end, depending on where you live. Let's just say you have $200 free dollars a month over there. In Oklahoma, your median income is $62K per household and $35K per individual. You need $85K to be comfortable as one person and $210 as a family of 4. Let's just say it's time to leave Oklahoma like it's time to leave Ukraine. Who do you think saves more money to get out of there faster at the median income? Education is supposed to be a way around that. But in a state ranked 48th in education, where 1 out of 5 adults essentially can't read, Oklahoma isn't really letting the wealth trickle down. With crime and poverty in America basically being in an abusive relationship, Oklahoma leading by this wide of a margin on the incarceration rate, it is unfortunately to be expected. But how could it be that Oklahoma, with $74 billion more dollars and a tenth of the people, could be doing so much worse than war-torn Ukraine? Oklahoma happens to be one of the most pro-billionaire states I've come across in this series. Oklahoma has low income taxes, low property taxes, but some of the highest sales taxes around. This means the top 20% keep more income to insulate from how much more things cost. That also means that the bottom 80% spend way more of the very little that they already have. Meanwhile, you need 2 jobs at the median income to be one comfortable person in Oklahoma. I wonder why. And it's only fitting that 4 out of the 5 top GDP producing industries in Oklahoma can be linked to some of the actual worst things about America, from the oil industry to defense contractors, manufacturing jobs that are on the way out, and healthcare and social services based on how destitute the lobbying from those other 3 industries I've mentioned have left the average citizen living in Oklahoma. And I could do an entire other video on how much worse this gets if you're Black or Native American in that state. And I, again, don't say this to you in Oklahoma to ask when you plan to move to Ukraine. I do say this to ask how a country the feds have given $83 billion in aid to is doing better than Oklahoma, a state in its own backyard. And any metric, by the way, that we could use to quantify what it's like to be an average person anywhere. Put your city or state in the comments if you want me to do yours next. We are covering all 50 states with this series. Shoot me a follow if you want to see when I do yours.